Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today's video is the final installment of our Bible study series, and it has been quite a while since I made a post for the Bible study series, so I do apologize for that. Things have been completely crazy on my end, and if you take a look at my community post, you'll see a little bit about that. But today is the final installment, and then we will be starting a new series in the next video. So if you are new to the channel, welcome, and please make sure that you go back and watch all of the other installments of this Bible study, because you will be completely lost and we are truly picking up where we left off. There isn't going to be any kind of a recap. So if this is your first video, be sure to go back to part 1 of this series. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being a subscriber, and we will pick right back up with our final series, our final video in this series. Thank you so much for watching. He's going to manifest his presence with grace and favor. And so that's what he was letting me know, because what happened in the situation where I got a small victory is that the lawyer that was for my ex was a straight Jezebel that had just been horrific. If you know anything about a Jezebel or narcissist, they are terrible people. And so I was dealing with that, and the Lord, one of the things that the Lord had promised me is that he was going to cut off the strings of the puppet, right? And so basically he was basically saying she's a puppet master, and she has been puppeting the people that have been opposing you, okay? And so he was basically saying, I'm going to cut those strings. And so that is what happened. That's what happened, is that the reason why I got a little bit of a reprieve is because he cut the strings. And so she had been manipulating and controlling and lying and, kind of getting her way, and she was exposed. One of her puppets went rogue, and I got peace. Okay? So exactly what God said was going to happen is what happened. However, that didn't give me restoration, right? So it's completely different of, yes, you've stopped attacking, right? But the harm that you have done has to be repaired and restored, and you have to help me, because God promised me that that's what you have to do. You were caught. You were an enemy. You were caught, and you have to give back sevenfold. Okay? So you don't get to just stop stealing and then we just call it fine. That's not how it works. And that's what God is saying. Please hear me. Hear me what he is saying. He's saying so many of my children are begging me to stop the thief from stealing. And that's it. That's all they want, is for me to stop the thief from stealing. That ain't good enough. They need to stop stealing. They need to return what they've stolen, and they need to work until they can have enough money to give you, to help you better your life. That's what I want for you. So when you come to me and you ask me to fix this situation, I'm all in. I don't have to do stuff. I promised you in my word, this is how I fix things. If you want my help, this is how we're going to do it. I'm not just going to stop the thief. I'm not doing that. Okay? I'm not doing that, because you're my child. So what I'm not finna do is just be like, oh, leave her alone. You done beat her up and she got a black eye now, but you just need to leave her alone. He's not doing that. Until you are 100% restored and better off than you were before, that is what he's planning on doing. So he's basically letting us know that a lot of us feel like, God, you're just taking too long. I cannot with how long it's taking you to do this. You are all powerful. You can do anything you want to do. I don't understand why we're waiting this long. I just don't understand it. And he's letting us know the reason why you're waiting this long is because I'm not going to move until it can be completely done. I'm not going to bring complete and total restoration until I can bring complete and total restoration. I'm not going to have to do it. I'm not going to just stop the thief from stealing and that's it. I'm not doing that. So the next part where he's talking about, I'm going to stop what I'm doing in the courtroom look up at you. Remember, we were talking about the scripture, the blessing, and we were talking about have his face shine upon us. And what he was telling me is he was saying that as I am sitting as the righteous judge in the courtroom, you have experienced this corrupt earthly courtroom where you come in there and they treat you like a number. They don't care anything about you. But he's saying, I, as the righteous judge, the minute you come into my courtroom, I'm going to stop what I'm doing. And I'm going to say, what do you need? I'm going to have my face shine upon you. That's what he's saying. He's saying, when I speak about this scripture, about the blessing, and it talks about my face shining upon you, I'm going to give you my undivided attention. That's what he's saying. I'm going to make sure that whatever it is that you need, you have my undivided attention, and whatever resources I have to have, whatever people I need to dispatch to make sure that you get what you need from me, you'll have it. That's what he's letting me know. He's basically saying, I'm gearing you up for a fight, because he's basically saying this is the time where you have gone out to do what thus saith the Lord. Okay, I've given you specific instructions as it pertains to this child that I've given you. I've told you I want to do X, Y, and Z in her life, and you have gone before these courts and you have tried to do what I've asked you to do, and they have not listened. And so you have come to me and you've said, God, listen. I for 4 years I've been fighting. I've been contending. I've been telling them this is what thus saith the Lord. This was in the best interest of this child. I've been trying to tell them. They just ain't been listening to me. And the Lord is saying, okay, I'm going to give you peace. I'm going to win this battle for you. I understand that it's just a battle and it's not the war, but I'm winning this battle for you because I need you to come sit at my right hand while I make your enemies your footstool. So he's saying, I sent you out on my behalf as my ambassador. I gave you specific instructions. I told you to go and to do what I told you to do. And you have been going and you have been trying to do what I asked you to do. And you have been getting hit with opposition. Everybody that you have come to has not wanted to listen. They have ignored you. They have treated you with contempt. They have been rude. They have lied on you. They have incarcerated you. They've done everything they can to tell you, I don't care what your king says. I'm going to do what I want to do. And now you've come back to me and you've said, this is a report of what happened when I was down there. I tried to tell them what you said and they didn't want to hear it. And he's saying, I'm going to take it from here. I'm going to take it from here. You did exactly what I asked you to do. So make no mistake, you've got favor with me. We're good. We are good. Now I want you to come sit down beside me and watch as I take care of it. It says that he will have a vested interest in showing you favor until he can give you a righteous, freeing, just, and prosperous verdict. So he's basically saying, what I'm getting ready to do is, I'm still God and I still do things in my timing, right? And so I'm telling you to come have a seat and I'm going to take care of it, but I'm still going to take care of it in my timing. And so that's what we have to understand about God. God is perfect and he does things that are perfect. And because he does things that are perfect, he understands how important it is to do it in the right timing. The right thing in the wrong timing still ends up in disaster. Okay, we have to wait for God's perfect timing. And so he's basically saying, I'm still going to do it in my timing, but in the meantime, I'm getting ready to give you favor. Now, why is that important? It means that there are other things in our lives that God can prosper us on, right? There may be a situation or circumstances that's harming us or that has harmed us that he needs to fix, right? But there are other issues and other things in our lives where he can bless us that will just enhance our lives and make it easier for us when he does get ready to fix that. And so in my situation, he has provided me with peace, but I still have a lot of other areas in my life that I've had to deal with because of this, right? Because, finances, because of how, all the lawyers' fees and those kinds of things. So there's a lot of things in my life that I have been praying and asking God about. And so he's basically saying, this particular situation, I'm going to handle it and I'm going to handle it in my timing. But in the meantime, there's other things in your life that I'm getting ready to give you favor with. And favor is so important because when you have favor, you can get things that other people can't, and you can get things that you're not qualified to get, and you can get things that you don't have to work hard to get, right? It means that basically things happen for you. You don't know why they happen. You don't know how they happen. And you did not do anything to deserve them to happen. It's just favor. And so that's basically what the Lord was saying, is that I got it covered. I'm the righteous judge. I'm sitting on the bench and I've reviewed the case and I have a righteous verdict. I'm going to implement that verdict and I'm going to do it myself because I sent you to do it and they weren't trying to hear it. So now I'm going to do it myself. And that's the thing about God. If you think about the Old Testament, there are prophets, right? And those prophets, they spoke for God, okay? And they would tell people, this is what God is saying. You need to repent, or you need to do X, Y, and Z, and, do what thus saith the Lord. If they did what, was asked of them, they were blessed. But if they didn't do what was asked of them, it had disastrous consequences. I mean, just bad. Things went really, really bad. And so that's basically what the Lord is letting me know, is that I gave them the opportunity to just obey me so that they wouldn't have to deal with the harvest that they're getting ready to have to deal with. I gave them the chance. That's why I sent you. I sent you for them to just listen to you so I wouldn't have to come and handle this. But they refused. And because they refused, I'm going to handle it myself. And when I do, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. And that is so consistent with the Lord, with the word that the Lord has been giving me, because he's been telling me this whole time. It's kind of like Pharaoh. That's one of the stories he gave me this to study as well throughout this process. He was saying, like with Pharaoh, is that God told Moses at the very beginning, I need you to go tell Pharaoh to let my people go. But he's not going to listen. He's not going to listen to you. I'm going to have to embarrass him for him to listen. He'll eventually listen, but he's not going to listen until I embarrass him. So the Lord was very clear with Moses from the beginning. He already knew Pharaoh wasn't going to listen. But because he's a righteous judge, he doesn't just go and just dish out, harsh punishment. He's not like that. He gives people chance after chance and warning after warning because he's a righteous judge and because he's loving. So he sent Moses so that they would have more than enough opportunity. He already knew they weren't going to take the opportunity, but because he's a righteous judge, he did it anyway. Because that's how God is. He's going to do what's right, regardless of whether or not it's the quickest way to do it or whether it's the way he would prefer them people just listen. He would just prefer people just listen. Just do what I tell you to do. But he gave us free will. So his ultimate will is going to happen. Okay. His ultimate will was to let his people go. They're getting out of here one way or the other. Okay. You may be able to, stall a little bit, but you're not going to be able to stop it. Okay. It's not happening. Now you can either participate in it and I bless you a little bit and bless them at the same time, or you can oppose me and we're going to have a problem. And so that's basically what he was letting me know, is that from the beginning, he's like, I already knew they weren't going to listen to you. I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. I knew they weren't going to listen, but my one rule here is that people reap what they sow. That's the one rule in the courts of heaven, that you reap what you sow. And so I have to make sure that they've sowed enough seeds for me to bring you complete restoration, right? Because remember, we're not going to just make the thief stop. We're going to make him repay. And so it's going to be a lot for him to have to repay and help you and elevate you. Like, that's a lot. And so for me to sentence him to have to do that, okay, and to have his life crumble and me to take everything from him, for me to do all of that, I got to make sure he's sown enough seeds for that. And so I'm going to send you. He's not going to listen to you. But while he's not listening to you, he's planting more and more and more and more seeds. And I'm watching him plant those seeds. And so when I'm done and you come back to me and you tell me, you give me the rundown about they did this, they did this, they did this, they did this. Everything you tell me that they did is a seed. And when I add up all those seeds, I can now dispense my justice. And I don't have to worry about being unfair. I don't have to worry about being unjust, because I'm just giving them their harvest. And so this is important. I want you guys to understand this, because this is what the Lord was telling me. He's basically saying, look at the situation from my lens. Okay. I'm not looking at this as a defeat. This is right on schedule. It's right on schedule for what I'm trying to do. I'm going to give you peace and let you take a little break, because you done gone through a lot. You've been going through a lot this past 4 years, and you have endured as a good and faithful servant. But now I want to give you a little bit of break, and I want to show you some favor, and I want to bless you while I take care of this. How many of you is God saying that to you? Okay. How many of you is he saying that to you, where you feel like a situation and circumstance, you've been praying, you've been believing, and you feel like nothing has changed. You feel like you've seen a little bit of a change. You've seen a little bit things get better in this situation, but worse over here. 2 steps forward and 5 steps back. You just feel like, when are we going to be done? Like, when's this whole situation going to be done? And so the Lord is basically saying, look at it from my eyes. Okay. I have not forgot, and I'm going to give you something to help you hold on. I'm going to bless you and let you see something. At the beginning of this thing, one of the prayers I prayed regularly was, God, just give me something. Give me something to let me know I'm on the right track. Give me some kind of small victory, something. And so he was letting me know, you asked me to give you a small victory. I gave you one. Now you confused as to what's going on. Like, I told you I would. So he's letting you know, he sees what you're going through, and he understands how long and hard the battle has been. He understands how long you've been in it, how tired and exhausted you are, and how ready you are to be done. And even though he's not going to step outside of his timing to do it in your timing, just because you're tired and exhausted, he is going to give you reinforcements and say, okay, let me, bless you and give you some favor and make some things go well in your life, so that I can work on this without you being quite so impatient, so that I can work on this without you feeling like you don't have anything. Right. And let me make sure that you're at a better place, so that when I do bring this restoration, you're not like desperate for it. It's more so icing on the cake. Right. And so that's really what he wants to do, is that he wants to set us in a place where when he brings restoration, we don't need it, but it's just a nice to have, right? And so many of us are in that place where we desperately need it. We need him to work this situation out. We need him to fix this. We need this to not be on our minds anymore, and to not be something that we got to deal with anymore. We just need him to fix it. And the Lord is saying, I don't want you as my child being in a situation where you need that, because I have everything you need. Right? I have everything you need. Just come to me. I've got it. And so I want to take this time to teach you that I have everything you need. And it doesn't matter what kind of Jericho you face. It doesn't matter what kind of mountain you face. The solution is always going to be me. That's the message that he wants you to have. It's always going to be him. The solution is always going to be him. And it doesn't matter how bad things get around you. Yes, he's able to fix it. Yes, he will fix it. But the solution is him, not the fixing it, not it being all put together. He's always the solution, and he's always what we need. Okay. So that was all around the barn to get where we wanted to go, but we finally got there. And so that is just an example. I told you guys that this was going to be a guided Bible study. And so this was me guiding you through this Bible study, and exactly how I study my Bible and how I communicate with God and how I live my life with him, is that I'm constantly wanting to know what he feels about things, what he thinks about things, have him weigh in on different situations and circumstances. And as I seek to do that, the Bible says that seek me where I might be found. He says that my sheep hear my voice, and the stranger they will not follow. So he's constantly saying throughout his word that he speaks to us, that he desires to speak to us, and that we can hear from him. And so we want to make sure that we're constantly seeking to do that. And as we seek, he will make sure that he's found. He will make sure that he fulfills the desires of your heart when those desires are for him. Okay. And so if you desire to be able to understand how to study your word, understand how to read the Bible, or to even be able to hear God, if you desire that, He will give you the desires of your heart. And so I hope that you have enjoyed this session. I hope you have enjoyed this series, and I'm going to be starting the next time. So do not miss it. I'm going to be talking to you guys about the courts of heaven, about the blessing, and about the righteous judge. All of the things that God spoke about that. He has a message for you and your life and your situation and your circumstances. And so do not miss the next series that we will be going into. In the meantime, please like, share, and subscribe. And God bless you. And I will see you next time.
If you'd like more tips on how to study the Bible for your own personal Bible study time, then be sure to get my mini course, Tips for Studying the Bible. Visit www.freedomthroughdivorceshop.com.